Hello, I am Kayla. This is my younger brother Marcus. He will be my client today. For this final exam, we will be presenting 3 different exercises, obviously from different ranges, from Olympic lift, applying metrics to agility. So the 3 that I have chosen today will be front squat, continuous squat jumps, and then lateral shuffling. So as of right now, we will begin with our front squat. So hello Marcus, we'll be going over our front squat. Clearly we do not have a barbell because he is so young. At age 10, what we want to focus on first is getting coordination and balance and then the movement before progressing into actually putting them under the weights. So that's incredibly important because it focuses on reducing the risk of injury way before putting the weights on. So first, what we're going to do is go over our front squat. You ready for this, little buddy?
Maybe.
Okay, so first things first. We're going to have our feet shoulder width apart. And so with the progression, typically with a client, what you would do is you'd begin with a rod first, like a PVC pipe, a rod, basically something that is slightly weighted, mainly to focus on the movement. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we understand what a squat is first. So you're going to come in here with me. So we're just going to go over a squat before we add the rod and the hands in first. So first thing I'm going to do is feet shoulder width apart. So feet shoulder width apart, you're going to make sure you're facing straight. You want to make sure you're turned. So here we go. Put the rod down. So front squat, you can put your hands here, wherever they're comfortable. And right now you're just going to go down to 90 and go back up. So of course, you don't want your knees to go in, you don't want your knees to go out because that will cause compensation in other joints of your body, which will create a greater risk of injury. So yeah, so we're gonna do one more of those and then I'll tell you how to progress to your hands, okay? So same thing, lower down, lower back up. What I usually do with a front squat, or even just a squat in general, is find a looking point kind of slightly angled to the ground because you don't want your head to be unaligned from the rest of your body. So you want to make sure when you're going from this angle, your head, neck, and back are all in a complete straight line because same thing, if you were to tilt your head up, that will strain your lower back, which also increases risk of injury and compensation in other joints. So now we're going to add the rod in. So here we go. You can sit right there. I'll demonstrate this and I'll have you come in and do it, okay? You can sit right here.
I want to see you do it.
Okay, so here. First things first, what you want to do is, usually on a barbell, there will be lines pretty much about this, just outside of shoulder width apart. So what you're going to do is, depending on where this is placed, so there can be 2 placements as to where the barbell would be on the rack. So we can start from lower, or can start from high, but typically, when you're training an athlete or a client to do a front squat, it typically would be racked pretty high, just around collarbone length. That is stuck to me. All right, so same thing, shoulder width apart. So act as if it's going to start right here, and you want to make sure that your elbows are straight up. Obviously, your elbows are not going to be completely forward, as some people lack mobility in that sense. But for right now, as we progress, it's going to be right here. You're going to lower. Go back up, we're gonna lower, and go back up. So same thing, you don't see my feet angling in, you don't see my toes pointing out, you want to make sure that your knees, hips, knees, and ankles all are flexed at the same time. To create that simple, here we go, simple 90 degrees. So here, so now you can come over, all right, there you go. All right, so now, yes, make sure feet are shoulder width apart, toes are straight. Same thing, and you're gonna start firm. You wanna make sure you're, just push them in a little bit. Your elbows are like this. Yeah, so it's gonna be right near your mouth. That's where the barbell's gonna be. So you see right here that he's kind of outside of his, range. You want to make sure that their hips go directly down to their toes. So bring your feet in just a little bit, buddy. There you go. Make sure you place it up there. And you kind of want to flip it a little bit. Arms are a little high. There you go. And you're going to lower yourself down to 90. There you go. And you can just go back a little bit better. You don't want to stay any longer than 1 to 2 seconds, just because a front squat, its purpose is to focus on muscular strength, and then as you increase your reps, it'll also help with muscular endurance, and it typically helps an all-around musculature with a variety of different muscles throughout the body besides just glutes. So abs, shoulder stability, making sure you're strengthening your lower back, and then you have your quads, your hamstrings, and then this also tests ankle stability as well. So as you go in, you don't want your ankles to cave in, because obviously as your ankles cave in one direction, your knees will begin to follow. So with all of that being said, just making sure your body is completely aligned and stable prior. Nice, buddy. So when you do this, hands will be up here. Arms will be back a little bit. There you go. So that's it for that. So you can give me this. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is continuous squat jumps. So this typically will be the progression as well. If you're doing a back squat, not if you're doing a front squat, but we're just going to do the plyometric version, which means just simply body weight. So you won't need that rod anymore. But from here on out, so the way you're going to do is same thing with the continuous movement. Your arms are allowed to go, so start back and up, versus just a non-counter movement where your arms are here and you have to go straight up. You're allowed to bring your arms forward and then down and back up. With that being said, it's going to be pretty much the same movement, so chose it to be a little bit easier for you to remember. Same thing, feet shoulder width apart, but instead of going down 1, 2, almost like an eccentric movement, it's going to be, you're going to load and you're going to explode. So the purpose of this is actually to test your explosive power. It also deals with coordination and strength as well. So I'll do a few and then I'll call you over so you can stand right there for a second. So same thing, bring your arms forward, here. But the biggest mistake that is made is when people begin to do these, they tip their hips back and they bring their chest towards the floor, which that is not what we want to have happen. So I'll do a little forward view. So you'll start here, load, here. So you don't see my chest going towards the floor, because this will then strain your hamstrings back here and lock your knees back. So what you want to do is start here, load up, go forward, and explode. So come over here a little, buddy. That's okay, that's the point. So same thing, what we're going to do is feet shoulder width apart. And bring your arms up, load, and same thing. We'll do one more.
That one I did.
It's okay. Obviously with kids, you don't want to do reps any greater than 5 to 6. This will work on vertical strength training as well. So getting a lot of breath, but just focusing on when you're working with the adolescent population is to not overwork them. So the point of this is to integrate explosive power into the structure and the movement that we just did. So we'll do that. I'll do one more. So here, you can kind of see that when he's doing, his knees are fully extended. You're allowed to fully extend your knees until you land. So when you land, you want your knees to be about 45. But we'll go on to the next movement. So our last one, our agility drill, is going to be lateral shuffling. So typically with kids, same thing, focusing on your movement, your coordination, your balance. With agility, because they have so much energy, you can we're not gonna make you work. You can increase, slightly increase the amount of, the duration of the exercise. But lateral shuffling, in terms of agility, so side to side shuffling. So here, obviously closer to the camera I get, here. So the focus of that is to focus on when you're integrating this into sport. So he plays baseball, this plant right here and push off. So shuffling, you're gonna push with this right here, and same thing, your body angle is gonna be about 45 degrees, and you're gonna push off, and you're gonna shuffle. So here, here. Obviously it's a little slippery right now, but we can make do, so come back. Alright, so come right here. You'll face the same direction as me.
I don't like this way.
You don't like go the other way then. Alright, this way. So you're just gonna shuffle. Obviously, make sure the child has the rhythm prior to doing the exercise. So if you can see that they're struggling with the movement of a shuffle, just begin with short movements. So you start right now, buddy. So you can do just transfer of weight, so a weight shift exercise. But this does teach them how to plant and load here, back and forth. So that is all I have for my final exam. Thank you, and I will see you next time.